everyone. Welcome to WRT with N and J. This is Nikhil, and I am joined with extremely passionate about today's episode, the one and the only.
Hey guys, Jolin here.
So, today, what would we be talking about, Jildan?
Oh my god. This is one of my favorite topics and I'm so eager to record this.
And what is it? I am very much excited.
Okay, so is self-love overrated? Oh my
Wow,
god.
this already sounds controversial.
I know, controversial, confusing, complicated. I guess
it,
everything.
it has all. It has all indeed.
It has, yes, I should say that. But yes, I am very excited because I am that person who always proclaims self love. And I keep talking about it a lot everywhere on my social media. And then even when I talk to people, I'm like, yeah, love yourself, put yourself above everyone. And, don't worry about what others think of you. If you feel right, do it and all of that. But what I feel is we all definitely have our own definitions of self love, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, I would say that. But you know what? Before starting today's episode, I just thought like, instead of giving our opinions, first let's start with the actual, that's the dictionary definition of it. Understand that, and then give our point of view and see if it's somewhere relating or not.
Yeah, let's do that first. I think a definition would be very helpful for us to get a starting point.
Okay, let me read it out. So this is what the dictionary says. It says self-love is regard for one's own well-being and happiness. Okay, that's nicely and well
Interesting.
put.
Interesting.
So
I agree.
what do you think? Like, were your definition somewhere near to this?
For me personally, I don't think I properly understand the term, but like just going on the two words that make up the entire thing, my understanding is doing something that you enjoy, which actually gives you a lot of happiness. For me, I think that would be watching motorsports or playing the guitar or some. I think anything that brings you joy and you're in that moment without having any stress. I think, in my opinion, that could be considered as self love.
Oh,
Do you share the
wow.
same opinion?
I guess, yeah, somewhere there. So for you, if it's F1, for me, it's dancing. So I feel like most of the time, when I want to practice self-love and want to do things, definitely at the end of the day, it is something that makes you happy. So for me, definitely it's dancing. So I kind of like, yeah, try to do those things. But again, when I think, I should put my perspectives, my things first rather than listening to others. I don't know if I am taking that part rightly. So
Hmm.
also have this confusion, is self love only concerned with you? Like it's just you doing things to make yourself happy, or can it involve people? Can it involve things? Right?
Um, Based on what the name says, I think it should be just us itself, like one itself, and anything that you do that brings you joy and you have fun while doing it. I think that should also that is only considered as self love. Again, I could be wrong on this.
Okay, that is actually confusing. See, it says one's own regard and happiness. So what if my happiness relies in spending time with someone or doing things with someone, going shopping with mom? If
Hmm.
this is the happiness, then why not? Like it can involve people, right?
Yeah, it can. I mean, I don't think it is necessarily needs to be just you and only you and not having any other individual in it. I think it can definitely involve somebody else also in the equation, provided it. But I think the main point is it should bring you happiness more than you taking care of them and making sure that they are happy doing that particular activity with you.
Exactly, maybe. Actually, like, yeah, there's so many factors like this come in, which actually makes, confusing for us to even understand what self love is. So,
Agreed.
yeah, so me and Nikhil, so when we were prepping for this, we researching few things, and then we actually came across three really controversial, confusing questions, which we thought that I guess we'll have to answer that first for us to even understand or go somewhere near self love. So yeah, let's pick that up.
Yeah, let's do that. So
Okay.
what is our first question then?
Okay. So the very first question, I mean, even when I looked for, this was one of the first questions that pops up, is why do you think self love is more and more hyped these days?
I think that could be because of the boom of social media. Everybody has the freedom to share their opinion from wherever they are in whichever part of the world, and you can tell whatever you want. And I think the increased awareness about mental health and how much it is of relevance in today's society, I think that has helped uh, get this idea uh, ahead, like to the masses, where everybody is taking care of themselves, regarding themselves like as the most important thing, and just practicing self love. I think those two, and again, one more thing that I think I was about to mention was the rise of individualism. Like where we as a generation much prefer doing stuff on our own and not having anybody else help us out or be involved in the thing. I think those three factors contribute in having self love as such of a hype thing nowadays.
So true, so true. I would like to highlight the pointer that you said, and I feel it is definitely the, how do I say, like the important things. So definitely the mental health awareness, and yeah, the social media, how it's boomed the entire, the
Hmm.
self love concept, and also, as you said, individualism and the personal growth. So
Yeah,
yeah,
agreed.
I definitely, even I too agree with your answers, I would say. So yeah, so that's about our first question. And the second most question that popped out was, when do you think self love turns into selfishness?
You know what? I think you'll have a better idea than me in this particular aspect. Why
Okay.
don't you go first?
Okay. Right. Um, so yeah, when I read this question, this is what comes to my mind, is when you over practice anything, right? It just goes
Hmm.
overboard. So I feel that's what happens here too. So when you over practice self love too much, you go to an extent where you put a shield in front of yourself, and you're thinking about yourself like all the time, and you don't want to take others' opinions or look into their perspectives or anything at all, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess when it goes after beyond a certain extent, like you also lack empathy. So you don't
Hmm.
know what others are feeling, even when they're trying to explain it to you. You also go to a point where you neglect them and be like,
Hmm.
okay, no, I need to look into my own happiness. That is what is important. I don't want to listen to anyone. And what if sometimes this doing good to you, or taking in those pointers is really going to help you, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess rather it just puts a shield over yourself, and you just neglect everyone else and just be like, yeah, it's just me, myself, and all of that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't you agree with that?
I do agree. I think actually I have 5 points that I think you can properly use as signs where you can tell that self love is turning into selfishness. So the
Hmm.
first one of that is disregarding the need for others, as you mentioned, like this idea of I am important. I don't care what the other person thinks, and I don't care if they are okay or not. This mindset when it comes, I think you're turning that what do you call self love into selfishness without even actually
So true.
knowing that you're going to that.
Exactly.
And the second point is taking advantage of others, basically using somebody else to gain something for yourself, being friends with them because you want something from them, uh, doing some work with the mindset that I'm gonna get something back in return. I think that's where you're
Oh
going
my
into
god.
the selfishness route.
So
The
true. So true.
the third point is third point, fourth point, and fifth point, I think are very related. So I'll just club them all together. It's like it's being manipulative, being inconsiderate, and being entitled. Basically, as like the above 2 points mentioned, like we take ourselves as like really important people and take everybody else granted, and we put ourselves. When I say we, I mean in general. We take ourselves as like this higher authority where we need to get the best for what is important from us, and the
Correct.
others should also do the same for us. And I think if you're doing those 5 things, there are clear signs that you are not practicing self love, but you're actually becoming
Rather.
a selfish person.
So true, so true. I guess yeah, some of the pointers that you said, like manipulative behavior and all of that. I guess yeah, that's like very evident, uh, evident like feature of selfishness.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yeah, as you said, it's so true. So yeah, it I guess it's uh very important for us to balance everything properly and not
Agreed.
go overboard with anything. And yeah, just watch clearly like what are we doing and what not and all of
Yeah, yeah. Having respect for the other person also, and
that.
not
So true.
taking everything that we only are important.
Correct, correct. So true. Okay, that was two interesting questions, and yeah, I'm happy we were able to somewhat answer.
Somewhat answer, yeah.
Yes, I still don't know. And yes, the third most searched question that I came across in Google when people actually get confused with self love is self love and self care similar? Are they related? What do you think?
I think I mentioned you mentioning a point related to that some time ago in a conversations or ours. So again, I would ask you to give a start because I think you will be able to differentiate them much better than, and I'll follow along to what you say.
Okay. Um, I I actually can differentiate it. But definitely, I guess when you practice one, the other also comes in way. That's what I feel.
Hmm.
See,
Hmm.
self care is more like a dedicated practice, I would say. There's
Okay.
specific actions or behaviors. So it
Okay.
could be for your physical health or mental health or anything. So, for example, it could involve practice like you doing a workout, like you practicing an exercise and then you
Hmm.
sticking to it, or having a healthy, good meal, right? Or
Hmm.
journalizing. So these are your practices which gonna help you in long term. And there's specific actions which is definitely help you to grow both physically and mentally. But when you talk about self love, I guess it's an overall positive regard, right? And it's basically everything like self acceptance, self compassion, everything comes into this. And to even give like a better example would be you
Hmm.
can still love yourself, you can still practice self love and go eat a junk food, right? And you can skip a day of workout, but you still love yourself, you're doing something that makes you happy and comfortable, and not going beyond that comfort level. But
Hmm.
when it comes to self care, it's practicing something,
Agreed.
keeping something periodic. That's what I
So,
feel.
do you consider it self care to be like an extension of self love?
I
I'm getting that kind of a feeling here.
Yes, yes, definitely. So if your self love is your biggest circle, self care would be a very small circle within that. So self care is one of the practices for you to proclaim or practice self love. So
Okay.
it comes
Okay.
within self love. Yes.
So, like, I mean, this is what I think, like, would be, examples for self love and self care. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, as you were like accepting your imperfections, having that junk food on the day that you want to take a, skip a workout, and,
Correct.
celebrating every small accomplishment that you're doing. And
True.
even treating yourself with kindness. Like, I want to have a DBC today. I'm going to have a DBC today.
Yes, why
I
not?
feel like it.
I
And I think
know.
it's the same. But at the same time, not making it a pattern. Like,
Correct.
fine, I enjoyed my DBC today, but no, like that
Not
was
every day.
once every day. To every day I'm going to eat healthy food. Like once in a blue moon, if I feel like it,
Exactly.
I can have this DBC and like having enough sleep, exercising regularly. Every point that you mentioned, I think. So yeah, like, I think my understanding, as per I've heard you, is in a nutshell, self care is an extension of self love. I think it's
Self
a
love.
self love could be a small term thing, while self care is a long term thing. Again, can we put
So
it like
true.
that?
So true. So true. I guess like yeah, you just elaborated and made my points clear. Yeah, I would stick to
Mhm.
that and say like yes. So self care is a long term thing, but self love is a short term.
I had a question relating to this. We say that so when we get stuck into problems, we have maybe we are doing something, we are stuck into a problem. Asking for help from somebody else with respect to that, is it also considered self love, or is it the opposite of self love? Are you letting yourself down by asking for help for
Okay.
somebody else?
See, as I told you, I don't know for some of the answers that I said. I did say that what if looking at the problem from a different perspective or different side, right,
Hmm.
can give you an easier approach to it or a better approach to it. So
Okay.
why not take in others' opinions? So I would definitely say that yes, asking help from someone, or saying that you don't know it, accepting
Hmm.
that okay, I'm not good at it,
Hmm.
it's definitely not putting you down, or it's not like how do I say, you're still practicing self love, right?
Okay.
It's not putting yourself down, rather it's creating a space for you to grow. Don't you think so? Like when you're taking in inputs from someone, you're understanding the situation better. You're understanding
Hmm.
that you can tackle this in a better way, and you're getting 101 ways to tackle this problem. It's giving you more opportunity, more doors are open for you. And
Hmm.
yeah, at the same time, uh, you're learning new things that you don't know, right? And
Agree.
definitely, like something that's letting you grow can never be something that you don't want, right?
Hmm.
So definitely you should go ahead, ask people for their opinions. And it you shouldn't like never have a feeling that okay, if I go do that or ask people for help, it's going to put you down.
Yeah. The reason I ask is like I've heard many people having this difficulty of asking for help from other people because they think that, oh my God, what would they think of me? And they'll
Correct.
think of me as like a loser or something if I ask for help.
Correct.
But
Correct.
as far as you have mentioned, I think that's not how you should take it. I think you should be like, yeah, let me. If I ask for help, I'm just gaining more. I'm not letting. I'm just. It will bring me joy later on because I'll understand
Exactly.
this
For
particular
sure.
problem.
Right, it's with everything, right? Even if you're failing with something, that doesn't mean that you cannot do that, right?
Hmm.
Maybe it just requires some practice. Maybe it
Hmm.
takes a while of time for you to
Hmm.
be good at it, but doesn't mean if you fail at that and it's the end, right?
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
yeah, I guess it's very important to take help from people. So important.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's a good question, and yeah, it's got me like more realization
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We learn something new every single day, right?
I know. That's so true. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's the end of the questions that we came across. So I mean at this point of time, we feel that okay, we were somewhere, near to understanding what self love is. But
Hmm.
again, I don't think so that we can answer the question at this point of time, right? Do you think
I,
so?
well, I think that, yeah, I guess so. I think basically me and Jolin ran the same question to our on our Instagram, asking our listeners what they thought of the question, and so we'll be reading those out, and maybe reading them out, getting their opinions. It would help us at least try to answer the question. So let's start with reading our listeners' responses because we have a lot of interesting ones. So do we start, Jolin?
Yes, let's get started.
All right. So the first response that we got was from Srijit, and he says, yes, in my opinion, it needs to be talked about, but not needed to be publicized or announced. Yeah, well said. I think, yeah, shouldn't really practice it so that other people notice it. You do it
For
because it
yourself.
brings you joy. Yeah. You don't
Exactly.
do it to appeal to other people. Let's move on and see what Aditi has to say on the same. Aditi says, no, it's the most important thing. Short and sweet to the point.
Okay, so wait. So she says no to. Okay, it's not overrated,
Yeah, I
right?
think she means it's not overrated. I think it
Okay.
needs to be talked about even more,
Oh,
according
wow.
to her.
Okay.
All right, let's move to what Anusha had to say.
Mm-hmm.
She says it is not overrated. Self love is like a therapy that you need to rejuvenate. I don't know why, when you use complex words, automatically you sound much more like you sound like you have an idea what you're
I know,
talking
right? You well versed with it. So
about.
yes.
So I think according to Anisha also it is not overrated.
Okay.
Do you want to
Wow.
read the next, Jolin?
Yes, yes. I'll read few responses. Yes. Okay, so we have Vijayashri Venkat who says perhaps not. So again, she's saying no, it's not overrated.
Hmm.
She says self love is somewhere self compassion, which is what is needed at times. So, okay. I mean, I guess we also brought this point somewhere
Yeah,
self compassion. So, yes, it's more like showing compassionate to yourself rather than others. And she says, yeah, it's a good practice.
yeah,
Okay, that's a good thing. Moving on, we have Yash who says, this should be the priority for everyone. This is the secret of happiness. Okay, that's well put.
that's again short and sweet to the
Short
point.
and sweet, for
But I
sure.
still don't know whether he thinks
He
it's
agrees
overrated
or
or
no.
underrated. Yeah,
Correct?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. He just says the definition of it. He says what he understands, but yeah, we don't know whether he agrees or not. Anyways, moving on, we have Sanjana who says, a lot is still less. Maybe we need to overrate it now. Okay,
Okay.
she goes beyond
Yes, she
and
is.
she says it requires more and more, you
She
know,
is definitely on
time.
the hype train, man. She doesn't think
Exactly.
it's talked about enough.
I mean, yeah, that's her understanding, and that's what
Agreed.
he'll
Everybody has their own opinion.
exactly.
Let's move
One
on to
more.
what Shilpa has to say.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, tricky one. It's overrated for people who don't understand it and underrated for people who understand it.
Okay. That's
What?
confusing.
I mean, I still don't understand it, so I don't know which which place I
Okay, I
go in.
mean, no, I get it. Like she is just saying, at the end of the day, it differs from people to people, and it's
People to
very
people.
subjective. Some
Agreed.
might feel it's overrated, and some might not. And
Agreed.
okay, that's also true.
Agreed. So let's go with what Titus had to say on the same.
Mm-hmm.
Titus is like self love is not overrated, but in a fast paced world, we don't get time to take a pause and realize self love. That is actually true.
Mm.
I think we are much more into the hustle culture and don't have time to talk about our stuff and what is going on. So, I mean, yeah, just taking the time to give a pat on the back to yourself when you've accomplished something is very much required.
Exactly, and that could be self-love.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right, Joel.
very good.
Let's read the next one.
Okay, we have Ishita who says self-love with room for self-reflection is important for personal growth. However, blindly accepting everything about oneself can hinder progress. Self love should be balanced with self awareness. But yes, it is a subjective matter. Okay. Like, it's good way she's put it. Like, she's spoken about both positives and negatives of it.
I
And
I am self confused.
I know I was
After
going to say that. We were, yeah, self compassion, self awareness. Oh my God, self
there's a
reflection.
lot of self stuff over there. Too much
Yeah.
self happening. But I
I,
mean, I very much agree to her point. It's a, I think it's like all what I'm getting so far is a very again as you mentioned at the very start, it's a very opinionated thing.
exactly,
You
very
could have a
subjective.
completely different opinion to
So
somebody
true.
else.
So true, so true. But okay, let's see more of it. Yes, we have Rekha who says, I think we need to concentrate more about self-love. Okay. Most of the time we don't get time to think about us, rather concentrate on family and others. I think self-love should be given the top priority. Okay, she brings in family and all.
Hmm.
But I do agree with that, right? Like sometimes people fail to understand that at the end of the day, whatever conclusion or whatever decision they make, it should be theirs rather than, your family or
Hmm.
anyone doing it for you.
Hmm.
In the thought of pleasing others, or just want to get that name. Okay, she's a good person, she listens to her parents, he or she listens to their family, they involve family in their decision. People fail
Hmm.
to understand, and they put themselves in a tough situation and later
Hmm.
regret about it. So
Agreed.
don't you think that, yeah, at the end of the day it should be your decision and not be
It should
influenced
be.
by anyone?
It should be. You should not be influenced. So the thing is, like, it's so easy to say that, but in practice, it becomes very difficult because
It's so difficult.
we just want validation. We crave for it, I think, and we get that validation. That's only when we are satisfied with
Exactly. And what if you're not satisfied? You're living with that for the rest of your life,
yeah, and
right?
you're not well practicing self love. You're just dependent on somebody else.
Exactly. So it's very important to draw that line, I would say.
Agreed.
Very good. Okay, I have another response. That's, I don't know, she's written a poetry, seems like. It's very huge. Anyways, this is Ria. So she says, how much is too much? And that too for something that helps ourselves come out of our shell. Okay, that's well put. She says, speaking of growing as a shy, introverted, and a seeking kid, and also trying to receive more validation from others because of the melanin or how a skin looks or the tallness, girls shouldn't be over particular height. And because of how they come because of how they come from, that is how they tend to find their partners. So factor that like this, it made her put or give a different definition to what self love is. But with wisdom, she says she came to a decision and agreed that at some point of time she should also practice self love. Once it was pitched, then turn back. All things that was once ashamed of is what now I hold profoundly, she said. And the other things that revolves around self love is concerned to putting makeup, buying expensive things and stuff. It's high time thinking it, accepting all the flaws and learning to love anyway. Love. And she says, like Shah Rukh Khan said, and she quotes, we will always find someone who's better, taller, beautiful, smarter. So become all of these of ourselves today, making a change to that of yesterday. Oh my god.
You were not lying about the poetry part.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, that's
She
so
went
well
too
put.
deep. Wow, that was deep. We should have had her on the show.
I know,
We
right?
were
Like she would have, yeah, like she would have had much like good, pointers to bring in. But yeah, I would say like it's definitely her own personal experiences, and yeah, I
She
feel like
brings a lot of good points, not gonna
correct,
lie.
correct. No, it's so important, right? Like it's self love. The idea of self love, I guess, actually comes right from the childhood. I mean, definitely at
Hmm.
that point in time, you don't know how to define it, but
Hmm.
rather the entire act of loving yourself, right, depends, I guess at that point in time, depends on how others validate you. So if
Hmm.
someone be like, okay, you're so pretty, good looking and all of that, so that's when you start loving yourself. But what if it's opposite? They'd be like, okay, no,
Yeah.
you'll have to grow thin, or you're too fat, you're too dark and all of that. So I guess at that point in time you start hating yourself. And even in your childhood, like that, at that age, you don't have the capacity to, you know to
Hmm.
even like realize whether what they're saying is right or wrong. So definitely you go with others' validation,
Hey, it's,
right?
it's circling back to the thing we mentioned, right? Like you should go with what your gut tells you instead of what somebody else tells you, because they are not in you. They are not you. They are not in your position. They don't understand the situation as much as you understand.
So true, so true. But yes, as she says, at the end of the day, you should just love yourself is how you are.
Yeah.
Right?
That's I think that's the core of it. Just
Correct.
accepting yourself for how you were made, how you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses.
So true, so
All right. I'll rate the next few then.
true. Mm-hmm.
Um, we have probably one of my favorite responses among all the responses that we got. This one's from Arushi, and she keeps it really short and sweet. She says, "Don't blur the line between self-love and selfishness. Everything circling around these two things." And we actually had we have a question that was completely on what she mentioned. So
Exactly. Wow.
I don't think I have to even explain
She
much.
even put that thought. That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, exactly. And it's so true. It's that's the whole thing. You have to have that balance. Being selfish and calling it, no, 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 that was self love. That's a very, very bad thing. You need to understand where to draw the line. All right, I'll move on to the next one
Mhm.
with Ruben, and he felt very passionate about the thing. Again, kept it short and sweet. He said, "It's hella important, and it's not done enough." So, yeah, my man had a lot of energy while
I
talking
know.
about this stuff. So,
I'm gonna conclude it right
I'm
away.
going to conclude it right here and then. So, I definitely think he's on the "it's not talked about enough" train. Then we have Anaga, who says, I don't think so. At least in this day and age where mental health is more of a challenge than before, it's important to remind yourself that you deserve some love too. But it does become overrated if you start becoming, I think she meant to say delusional,
Mm-hmm.
but she said Delulu XD. So we're
Okay.
gonna run
Oh
with
my god.
Delulu XD.
I mean,
I
that's a
like
nice way
that.
of putting it. Yes,
That
why
is
not?
that is actually very true, and I think sort of something like that we mentioned before earlier in the episode about how mental health takes a very big is a
So
very big
true.
reason why
It
this is
is.
talked about a lot nowadays.
Mhm.
So I think she's more of a neutral line, and I think based on how you are, you could have it underrated or overrated.
Very subjective. Yes.
Let's conclude the final ones with Jolin reading them out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me do that. Okay, we have Jeffrin who says self love is indeed overrated. Okay, wow. What
Mhm.
I say is purely based on first hand experiences and of those around that I get to know. Okay, so he's gonna completely talk from his point of view. The
Mhm.
whole self love preach is a cover or guard instead of reflecting on mistakes. We are human. We are definitely filled with flaws. We definitely make mistakes. That's exactly what makes us human. You know? But what we do about them is what defines who and how we are, for sure. One needs to hold himself or herself accountable for such flaws, then deciding that all that we do is all right, and then the whole, because I love myself, preach. My perspective's blunt. It's not just your monthly saloon visits, but also your daily house cleaning and chores. Don't stop with self love or forgiving yourself after a mistake, but bring tough love into picture as well. Put in the work of being hard on yourself and healing that part of you that made the mistake. Heal and grow. Okay,
Wow.
that's too much. But
Wow.
I really like how he also gets the what I say, like the other side or the other face of self
Mhm.
love, right? It's not
Mhm.
only visiting saloon and doing things that you really love or which
Mhm.
gets you pleasure, but at the same time doing things that could not be good, right? For example,
Yeah.
cleaning stuff or cleaning your house and all of
Mhm.
that. So yeah, I guess it's all very important. So I've also
Mhm.
came across this well, I was looking for like 101 definitions of self love. I also came across this pointer where it says self love is just not cute spa nights, but also it can be your ugly kitchen chores, right? That's a very good
So,
statement, right?
I mean, having your surrounding clean as you want your body to.
Exactly, exactly. So it shouldn't be always nice and beautiful things and fancy stuff, but it can be also the smallest to smallest things.
Wow. That gives me that line. I don't know if it's a quote or not, but
Mm.
like enjoying yourself at the worst, at your worst moments too. Or,
Exactly. Like, yeah, why not? Like, okay, for me, like, when my mom says go clean or go mop the floor, I
Mhm.
love it because what I do or what I turn into is I put on my headphones, I listen to my favorite songs, and then
Mhm.
I dance and then mop the floor, and I don't even get to know like when I finish it. So yeah, I guess it could be the smallest to smallest things, of just getting happiness,
Yeah,
fetching happiness from every day.
agreed.
Hmm. That was interesting. And yeah, we have Akhil who says, okay, he thinks it's a very controversial topic. It is.
It
So
is.
he says simple answer is yes. Okay, he says it's overrated. But not everyone. There are people who really don't know about it and just to flaunt themselves by spitting out random shit on Instagram. It's because of these people I have the above opinion. Otherwise, it is much needed feeling, I would say, because at the end of the day, you will be alone, and if you don't love yourself or love doing something alone, it's gonna be miserable. Okay, that's wow.
I like that final line. And it is true. I'm not gonna lie. It is completely true, especially for our generation.
I know,
But
right?
but yeah, again, well, the point he mentioned where people abuse the term,
Correct,
saying
correct.
like, "Oh, it was mental health or this and that caused me to do this." No, you are in control of yourself. You know what you are doing at all times.
Exactly. It
So
shouldn't be reason. It should be the solution for anything. Rather, it should just be a practice, a
yeah,
daily practice. I would say.
yeah. I think we mentioned this line before also that don't do it to appeal somebody else. Do it
Correct. For yourself.
for your own self, so that it brings you happiness, not anybody else happiness.
So true. So true. Okay, we have a final answer where Maria says, people are learning to accept and love themselves for who they are. Through their self worth, they can build themselves and realize that they have more potential. Prioritizing self love too much above all can also be negative, where people take wrong idea of self love and stop taking accountability for their mistakes.
Oof.
Okay, that's really good. I know,
That.
right? Like we spoke about this, I guess.
Mm,
If you doing some mistake or if you're failing at something, you shouldn't be afraid to accept it or be like, yes, I made the mistake, or yes, I don't know this.
mm.
You should definitely be like, you should definitely go to people, ask for help, learn from it, and yeah, at the end of the day, it's gonna help you in your personal growth.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody told, right, accepting yourself for who you are. That that plays properly into this thing where you enjoy your good parts while at the same time accept your bad parts.
Mistakes.
And yeah,
So true, so true.
but a bunch of amazing answers and
I
people
know,
who have
right?
a lot more idea about than us
Exactly. No, I
about
was
this
like, okay, no,
topic.
this is it. This is the actual answer. I'm like, okay, no, this is better than that. And all of them had really good answers. And yeah, definitely good understanding than both of us, I feel.
Agreed, completely agreed. But hey, now it's our time to give our opinions, Joel. So you want to go first?
Yes, why not? I want to. Okay, I mean, definitely, I wasn't influenced by these answers. I would say, and yeah, I have good idea of self love now, and I feel self love is not at all overrated, and it's an essential thing for you. um I feel I also stick to what Akhil said, and I do have this thought, and yeah, I do talk about this a lot, that in this world it's so important to love yourself, because sometimes even if you're around people, like be it your family, your friends, even with your loved ones around you, you sometimes feel you're all alone, right? Like you
Hmm.
feel like you're all alone and nobody loves yourself and all of that. When those kind of thoughts come in, it's so important to love yourself, and it gives you a sense of satisfaction and believe that okay, you're there for yourself.
Hmm.
And yeah, I feel that self love is not at all overrated, and you should practice that, and it's very important element of your life. At the same time, you should also bring in a point, and reflect on your mistakes and try to learn new things and all of that. And it shouldn't be, again, I'm saying not the positive sides, as we read a few pointers where it said that yeah, it could be you're doing your ugly kitchen chores, or it could be accepting your mistakes, or it could be accepting your failures and saying that you don't know this. So I feel it should be the combination of everything and not just the positive side of it. And at the same time, it's definitely important to balance it properly, because it can, as we said, turn into selfishness. So I would say it's definitely not overrated, and it's very important.
Okay, I think I have a different opinion. I think according to me, self love is talked about enough. I think the more you talk about it, the more it has people would have a chance to misuse it, and that shouldn't be the case. So,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, and I think that self love is talked about enough, and it should not be talked about more. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think I'm on that
Okay.
neutral line.
Okay.
Um,
We do have different answers. Wow.
we are two different people, so we would have two different answers.
So true. So true.
Well,
But
yeah, that was it, right? I think we discussed everything.
yes. Oh my God. That was such a good discussion with so many
Hmm.
good points. And yeah, I feel like satisfied at this point of time. Yeah, like oh my god, yeah, I've spoken enough, and yeah, definitely feel satisfied. So yes, guys, so that was your episode for Is Self Love Overrated? And I so much believe that you would have a lot of fun listening to this, and definitely, like, I guess you would be answering to all the you know questions that we have in this, and definitely reflecting on all the opinions what people have had, and definitely given your opinions. And I guess it's a very good episode. You all have to listen to it and reflect your thoughts on what is self love, overrated or not.
So
And
yeah,
also, mm-hmm.
we'll be dropping a poll down asking the same question, uh, whether you think self love is overrated or not. Um, but yeah, that's basically been it. We'll drop the links for all the places you can find us. We are on YouTube also now. Every
Yeah.
link you'll find below in the description. Give us a follow. Would love to have you there. You want to have a discussion with us? We'd love to have a discussion with you guys also. And we'll see you in the next episode, which is gonna be a special episode at around Diwali, where we'll be talking about our some of the hilarious moments we've had over the years during Diwali time. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, until then, ciao.
Bye bye.